The real reason why the U.S. and China are holding joint military drills is not what they're retelling you. The world's most powerful military has a secret plan to dominate the seas. And it involves an unlikely ally. And you won't believe what they're up to in the South China Sea. But first, let's get some historical context. In 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. America responded by placing missiles in Italy and Turkey, essentially on Russia's doorstep. This enraged the Soviets, and for good reason. It was a huge betrayal of trust. America had promised not to place missiles in countries which were not part of NATO. But once the Cuban Missile Crisis blew over, America kept these missiles in place. Fast forward to today. America and China have built up an extensive network of military bases across the Asia-Pacific. At the same time, China has become increasingly aggressive towards Taiwan. So naturally, this has raised the stakes for both sides. China feels that America is encroaching on its territory by supporting Taiwan, and America feels that China is encroaching on its sphere of influence. So what do? They hold joint military drills. In February, both the U.S. and China announced that they would be holding joint military drills. The People's Liberation Army would be sending 700 soldiers, and the U.S. would be sending 200 Marines. Their goal: to build trust and understanding through military cooperation. China said that their participation would help improve their ability to respond to various types of crises, and the U.S. said that the drills would enhance their interoperability and allow them to learn from one another. But there's a dark strategy at play here. You see, the U.S. has long been suspicious of China's intentions in the South China Sea. China claims 80% of the South China Sea. But an international court has already ruled that China's claims are invalid. Despite this, China continues to assert its dominance by sending military vessels into the region. So what does the U.S. do? They send in their allies to challenge China's dominance. In recent years, the U.S. has been encouraging weaker countries to assert their claims in the South China Sea. For example, the U.S. supports the Philippines' claim to the second Thomas Shoal, even though the Philippines has no real way of defending themselves. The U.S. also recently conducted joint military drills with Vietnam. These drills were centered around a hypothetical invasion of one of Vietnam's islands in the South China Sea. So you can see where this is going. By provoking China with these joint military drills, the U.S. is hoping to force China into a military conflict. Once there's some military conflict, the U.S. can then intervene and paint itself as the victim. In this scenario, the U.S. would have the support of the international community and could easily defeat China. That's why you haven't seen any major escalation from China, despite all of these provocations. China knows that a military conflict would be a losing battle. This is why the real reason why the U.S. and China are holding joint military drills is not what they're retelling you. Both the U.S. and China know that a military conflict would be disastrous. So they're using joint military drills as a way to build trust and understanding. At least that's what they're telling us. But behind closed doors is a completely different story.